Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my Seed Reviews and Tours series. Last week was episode 38, and Anastasia Hawk shared this really nice seed. Bring a coat because there's a lot of snow around, but there is some also really nice other areas. Great for building, great for farming, and I recommend you come and have a look. Let's have a look at episode 39. We're in Java this time, and we are creating the world together as we normally do. The world name is the seed, otherwise I'll just get completely confused. But make sure you put it in the seed hole, otherwise an ocean of tears shall flow. Everything else as it should be. Creative mode, and let's get this fella going. Now, I've heard that we spawn into a forest, but let's see whether or not the 1.16 snapshots change the spawning patterns of this place at all, because some of them do change them a little bit. Well, it appears we are still in the forest, so I'm just going to get myself my stone, and we're going to build up and get ourselves a bit of a view. We're on top of our stone pillar, and I'm just looking around, and we are in a really rather nice biome here, nice forest biome. I quite like spawning into foresty biomes, so you can literally wipe the slate clean with them, get all the resources you might need, and then move on to somewhere that you're actually going to build your base camp, and that way you've not kind of decimated around your base camp area. So what have we got to the south here? We've got more wood. We've got lots of wood. There's massive taiga there. We've got to the north what looks like the beginnings of some mountains, and off to the west is the plains, and it looks like there's a village there. So let's get ourselves off to the north and see what we can't find. So as we saw, we're coming over this mountain area, and behind it we have got a swamp and a flower forest, a flower mountain biome there actually. I'm looking around the swamp. It is semi-wet. I'll call this semi-wet, although we have got a nice big load of wetness over here. I do like a wet swamp, reason being, with a witch hut right in the middle of the wetness. Let's have a look at this here, look. So we've got a witch hut that's not got too much land around it. You might want to slab out some of it possibly, but that witch hut there is right in the middle of the water, which is fantastic, which means that you could build up a witch hut slime farm combo, which is the perfect use of a swamp into this mountain biome again. Flower forest goes on for some time by the look of it. That's quite good. Plenty of beage for you without any question whatsoever. And the mountains keep going for what looks like a little while. More spruce wood should you need it. And we've also got what looks like a birch forest over to the left. Big old birch forest actually, so plenty of birch wood there if that's the kind of wood that you like to build with. Now the mountains went on for a long old while, and they did yield into another swamp with another witch hut. So it's second witch hut, and we've only gone, well, we've gone about 1,500 blocks, 2 witch huts. That's not too bad. Again, plenty of wetness that you could take advantage of. It's got a bit of land behind it, so you might want to do something with that. We've got a really nice open plains. Doesn't look like it needs too much terraforming doing, but what's really good about it is the sheer size of this fella. Look, we got this going over here. I know I am officially moving in the easterly direction, but it's only just off the northern thing. Look at it. It's massive. It's brilliant. It's got this forest ridge going across the middle of it, and then you've got more plains on the back. A little bit of terraforming required, that little bit in the middle. It's a little bit severe, but all in all, that's quite nice. And it's a sunflower plains as well, so plenty of sunflowers to be collected. Off the back of that north, we've got more birch forest. We've got a dark oak forest here, you can see, that is going to bring us in plenty of the dark oak wood that you might like to build in if you're doing perhaps a medieval village around this plains. The dark oak wood works really, really well. And we do have, which is very nice, a village just at the edge of this plains. It does mean that you can then populate this fella with plenty of villagers. Breed them up. Dead easy to breed villagers nowadays. No, I can't see a blacksmith there, so you can't go and mess it up, but you can relocate the villagers, which is always good. Looks like we've got more swamp. Highly swampy, this fella, isn't it? Goodness me. With mountains on the right-hand side, so you'll get your mining a plenty from your kind of towny city area if you were going to convert that big old plains area. More and more forest, so you're not going to be short of wood, and then more plains, because obviously you didn't have enough plains. Is that another witch hut? That is another witch hut. Okay, where are we now? So we're at about 2,000. That's a third witch hut. That's just insane. We've done north. It's time to go west. There's our pole, and we're going over this huge tiger, massive tiger that is, and I don't mean like the orange and black stripy ones, I mean the ones that are full of spruce. Spruce is a great building block to use, and you can come here and get plenty of spruce. Obviously you probably get plenty of dogs in there as well. Let's have a look. There's a little puppy down there. Oh no, it's a cow. It's a little bit like a wolf, except it's a cow. There's the wolves. They're trying to hide. You can't hide from me. And plenty of foxes in here as well if you want to play around with those. Another swamp here. Looks like you've got a fairly open area to the left in terms of water. No witch hut, but come on, how many witch huts do you need, people? You got 3 if you go north. That's quite nice. You've got a big birch forest, another dark oak forest, and what looks like the start of the ocean just over here. I'm just going slightly south of that eastern axis with a coral reef. That is a coral reef just coming into play over on the side there. So coral reef is only about 500 blocks from where you spawn in. Plenty of sea pickles and corals there for you to be able to come and get. We've also got what also looks like a very nice plains too, sandwiched between 2 ocean biomes. What's this ocean biome look like on the other side? Because you could do a little town. It's only a little plains, but that's perfect if you want to build yourself just a little town or even an expanded village. A little bit of a port or a jetty area there, and a relatively simple looking ocean biome to look out over the top of. Just a wee bit further east, we're just over 1,000 blocks now. We've come to our first desert of this seed with a nice looking desert town as well. We can see here it's not got a blacksmith's again. Desert often don't have blacksmiths. It's quite interesting. There's a far lower instance of blacksmiths in the desert, and it doesn't have a tower, which is a bit of a shame. But what it does have is a temple right in the middle of the village. Now, whether or not these villagers have built this temple themselves or whether it is there and they built the village around it, I don't know the lore, but well, the lore of that, maybe come and have a look and see what you think the lore could be. We've also got another village just off the back of it. I am heading slightly north off the east again, but that's another village, and we've got a blacksmith's in this fella, so you could come and pillage away like a good un. The desert does go on for a long old time, but what we have found is this second desert village, and it's quite a large desert village. What I really like about this one is the tower right splat bang in the middle on an elevated position. This is the perfect village to set off a raid. Sit at the top of your tower, shoot them off, and until the Vexes come, you're pretty much safe as houses, aren't you? Let's face it, the villagers not so much, but you are. It comes off of the desert and becomes a savanna. So I'm just going to accelerate through this savanna to see whether or not there's anything on the other side. It's a fairly significant size savanna as well by the look of it. Long, thin, and it has got a savanna village. Savanna villages themselves are rubbish. Savanna villager costumes, however, are officially brilliant. And we've got the tiniest little plains biome here with a broken portal right in the middle of it. So come and, well, why not find out what's in this thing? Let's have a look. We're going to have a look and see what's in here. We have got a little bit of gold, a golden axe with sharpness 5. That's an average one. I would describe that as that's average. And then that yields onto the sea. We've got a little ocean ruin there that you can come and pillage away. And I wonder what might be across this sea. I'll tell you what's across this sea. Just a few small islands around here, and you have got this really nice looking ocean monument for you to start to change up and make into a farm. You can see just in the distance there, we have got a little broken portal as well, so that might have something you might want to come and take away. And second ocean, I didn't even see that one. Look, one ocean monument there and another ocean monument there. That's just greedy. Where are we? We're currently about 3,000 along in the easterly direction. We've gone to minus 500 on the Z, but look, one there, one there. And also, interestingly, we have got ourselves some ice too, so that is just waiting for your silk touch pick. They're really close. I like that. Heading south away from our spawning point now, and we're being taken again across that forest and the tiger biome with the ocean on the right hand side of us. We've got a tiger village coming right on top of us now. Again, tiger villagers. I'm not so keen on the actual villagers themselves. The houses are a little bit rubbish, but I love their uniforms. Looks like they're all wrapped up in furs. Love them a really lot. We've also got, that's interesting, we've got a swamp to the left-hand side of it here. And another witch hut. Is that 4? 4 witch huts? A little bit greedy on the witch hut front there, aren't we? Goodness me. Plenty of witch huts you've got to play with now. Right, because that swamp also got a really nice big open wet space there. Is it close enough to the witch hut for you to be able to AFK? You know what? I do believe it might be. You could get a double bubble on that one as well. That's brilliant. Let's come across a little bit further across this birch forest into a plains biome. I am going in the right direction, aren't I? Yes, I am heading south. And this plains biome is quite big as well. Again, this is crying out for a city. You've got a really nice ocean on the left hand side. That says to me, make me into a port area. Look at the way that kind of swoops itself around in cutting out kind of semicircles across the land. That looks like a port area, especially when it is pulled over by those mountains as well. Those cliff faces really shout out something port-like to me. And then coming along this way, I know I'm not going entirely south. We've got a continuation of that plains, which yeah, that needs, with this big wet bit in the middle, that needs a city building on it. Come and build a city. We've got another broken portal there, which is fairly close by. And then we can continue on further south. As we go further south across that plains, we've got a dark oak forest there. We've got a swamp that's just enormous. I'm not even going to explore this swamp, frankly, because, well, why would you explore a swamp when we've already had 4 witch huts, for goodness sake? It's massive. I've never seen a map more swampy, but I really like it because of the witch hut distribution. And if you're into your slimes, you're going to be all over the place. Mountains here, that really begs out to me for a citadel where the walls of the citadel merge into the cliffs of the mountain. That looks really beautiful. And then that comes into a significantly sized ocean. I mean, this is the Pacific of Minecraft, this fella. Tiny little island coming into the right. Tiny little island also coming into the further right. This ocean looks like it carries on for some time. We're now heading west towards that village that we could just see when we were on top of our little spawn pole. Now, this is quite a decent sized village. It's got a church. It does not have a blacksmith, but it does have a church and some interesting shaped buildings. So you might want to try using this area here, relatively close to spawn, so not so far for you to have to travel. You've got this sweeping plains area that comes around and all the way off to the south there, which is just brilliant, lapping around the left hand side of that flower forest. Now the west then yields into an ocean. We've got forest on the right hand side with birch and oak, so you've got plenty of wood. We've not found any jungle wood so far, but we have found pretty much every other wood that you could possibly imagine. Oh, we've got a shattered savanna coming into play now. I like these shattered savannas, not because they're easy to build with. In fact, they're a blooming nightmare to build with. I mean, who needs that lot? That floating island. What's that all about? That's ridiculous. But they really are good if you want to do some kind of steampunky build. And I must admit, I'm quite looking forward to doing the steampunk build in the Legacy SMP, which is probably going to be the area I move to after I go to the jungle, which I've just started to do. But definitely some steampunk gagging out for that shattered savanna, which is really beautiful. That then yields onto a large desert with what looks like a quite nice river running through the middle of it. Can't see a desert temple obviously there, but wouldn't surprise me if there's ones buried. They normally call me a liar. Got a standard savanna to the left hand side. We've got a plains biome split with some hills with some forest on. Another desert, so plenty of sand for you to be able to get all your glass. Because if you're going to build a city, you need glass, don't you? And then we've got what's a slightly confused village here, because it is within the plains biome, but because it's sufficiently close to the little tiny desert biome here, that means that it's turned into a desert biome. Quite nice, but it is built across a big old ravine that looks like it spans a mine shaft in there, which is really quite nice. Don't normally look for the mine shafts when we're doing the overworld bit, but well, if you trip over them, you got to mention them, right? Let's carry on just a little bit further west to see if there's anything else. If you come out further west to about 3,000, just under 3,000 blocks, pretty much dead west, you've got this really beautiful and very, very decent sized coral reef here that is sandwiched between this standard forests and forest mountains, a dark oak forest on the hills, and this really lovely coral reef. Now, you could do quite an interesting scene here, couldn't you? If you were a real builder, you could create kind of a Blue Lagoon-esque style build with this wraparound of islands and cliffs, and you've got another shipwreck just down there for you to play with. Lots of wetness. There's a nice island here, very interesting shape with a cove that you could turn into like almost like a pirate island. It is a peninsula, but pretend it's an island. No one's looking. I did a quick slash locate just to see if we could find some of the buildings of interest that you might want to be creating farms or raiding or something like that. So the nearest desert pyramid is about 1,200 blocks away, not too far at all, just a hop, skip and a jump. It's less than 2,000 blocks to the nearest igloo, so that implies that there's some frozen area fairly close by. 5,500 blocks out to the jungle pyramid, or the nearest one. That doesn't mean that's the nearest jungle, of course, but that's the nearest jungle pyramid. So it's probably about 5,000 or so blocks out to a jungle. Mansion less than 10,000 blocks away. That's really, really close if you use the Nether transport system on top of the Nether roof. That's only 1,000 blocks of travel in the Nether is 8,000 blocks to the mansion. Monument, 2,700 blocks. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was quite that far when we went to those two monuments, but I guess maybe it was. Pillager Outpost at about 1,200 blocks, and the Stronghold is just over 2,000 blocks away from where we are right now. So relatively speaking, pretty convenient. I've come into Mine Atlas because I like the graphics of Mine Atlas. When it actually wants to load in properly, it is a really great program. You can see spawning in right in the middle there, you've got all the wet around you, the oceans. We've got a small mushroom island shore just there, a tiny little island. We've got a larger mushroom island up in the northeast that we didn't see either of, which is a bit of a shame there. We've got frozen going in a diagonal, and we've also got some ice spike biomes. You can see there with the blue. I don't see any mesa. And up and the west, there we go, out far west, around about 8,000 blocks, you've got a mesa there, and it looks like the jungle is down in the southeast, and I can't really see any other jungle anywhere close by. So that is your fella. Big old jungle, but you've got to go some trip to get there. It's a nice looking seed, plenty of building opportunity here if you like kind of the desert or plenty of really nice open plains. This would, for example, be a really superb kind of multiple town city area across there. I like this seed very much. It is spoiler time because I'm going to be going under the ground. If you don't want to know what's underneath here and you want to dig for it, look away because we're in there in 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I fooled you and went backwards this time. And underneath we've got a number of large ravines. That's quite nice. Ravine over there, ravine over there, ravine over there, ravine over there. You are going to be all ravine over there. Ravine. It's ravine central. It's massive, this ravinage. Very nice to be able to get some proper mining done. If you don't like doing branch mining and you like running along ravines to get lots and lots of stuff, this is your fella. That's absolutely superb. We've got over there what looks like a, well, looking over there, looks like a mine shaft with a number of cobwebs I can see in the distance. We've got here a little mine shaft, and this definitely has cobwebs because it's right on top of me, look. So you can see we've got a cave spider spawner right in there. We've also got this spawner here, which is a spider spawner, standard spider. So you could do a little double spider spawner there without doubt. That is easily close enough. Your AFK point is probably around about here. I should think that would be quite good. So what is the location of that? If I just get that, that is spawner there is at 102.27 minus 108 with the spiner spawner just a little bit further over in this direction. Looks as though it's a relatively small mine shaft. You've got a spawner just here, another cave spider spawner, another cave spider spawner just there. They may be slightly too far apart to be able to join them up. I'm not entirely certain, but plenty of choice. And this one has got a good area for you to come and explore. Another cave spider spawner there. And another spawner. What's this spawner? And that's a skelly spawner. Skelly spawner at 1838 minus 308. So you've got loads of choice. Interdimensional travel in my very near future. There is where we spawned in. This is where I'm going to put the portal in. Let's see what we got on the other side of this fella. Now we're in 116, so I'm expecting some spectacular stuff. Right, it looks like we're in Nether Waste as we come out. Check up. Always check up in the Nether Waste. There is lava. You can see just there, lava coming down from the ceiling all the time. But there is also now in 116 gold, which is quite nice, isn't it? So what have we got around ourselves? It is relatively open. That means that you have the potential to get your face blasted wide open by a ghast, which is never a good thing. But so you're going to need to think about how you encase your portal if you're portaling in from spawn, so as you are ghast safe. Just looking around, this is the most open 116 spawn into the Nether I think I've seen in a very long time. Anyway, let's have a look and see where the other stuff is. So I've used the /locate biome and the /locate commands here to see what goes on in this nether spawn. So the Basalt Delta is 246 blocks away. The Crimson Forest is 349 blocks. Soul Sand is 431. Warped Forest is 425. So as it goes, those four biomes are actually quite a long way away. This is a very significant nether waste area that we're actually sat in. So you're going to have to travel for a couple of hundred blocks to find something different. We've also got a Bastion Remnant that's only 122 blocks away. So that's pretty close. And interestingly, the nearest fortress is 900 blocks away. That is miles away. I've never had a fortress so far away. And what makes that super interesting is if you load this seed in 115, rather than 116, you actually come right in on top of a fortress when you come through. So that is a massive change to the way the nether works in 115 versus 116. Let's go and have a look at these. Your Basalt Delta is in what appears to be a really gorgeous looking nether ravine. That's absolutely fantastic. Loads and loads of basalt, loads and loads of blackstone. That's a really nice way for that to be presented. Right at the edge of the nether waste here, you can see it just kind of slowly molds its way in. That's going to be tricky to get to, but a really oppressive and daunting looking place for you to come into, and then it comes all the way along like this. Let's go and have a look at the other closest biomes. And the Crimson Forest is a split level. You've got a little tiny bit of Crimson Forest up on the top there with the creeping vines coming down. You've got lava coming down into a Crimson Forest, which is actually not that common, so do be aware of that. But it's a nice size. I love the glow of red as you're wandering through it. That is a lovely looking place. Still quite a long way away if you want to get here. It's 400 odd blocks. And the Soul Sand Valley is relatively accessible here. You've got plenty of room. Watch out for the ghasts, which because of the height and the width of this, you might find this Soul Sand Valley isn't too scary on the ghastage front. I wonder if it is a split level though, because yes it is, look, because there is not that much soul sand, and I'm actually unimpressed with the amount of fossilage that we've got in this one too. Not very much at all, but it does mean that you're not getting ghasted quite so badly. Right on the edge of the Crimson Forest there, you can see. And the Warped Forest has the same split feel. It's really bizarre looking Warped Forest, this one actually. You've got floating warp all over the place here. And here, however, you've got a relatively farmable space. It's not too bad. You do, again, have lots of lava flowing in. It's quite unusual. But I like the way it kind of contrasts from the Crimson Forest. You've got the vines creeping up there. You've got the purple. This is my favourite wood, I think, from the Nether update. But it's very inaccessible, tricky to get to. The Bastion Remnant, however, is not tricky to get to at all. It is dead easy to get to, and it's not that far away. And you've got it, looks like a split up Bastion Remnant with a bit of a bridge going across the middle, which is quite nice. Oh, it kind of goes down. It's got like road up lava here as well. It's a much bigger Bastion Remnant than I'm used to seeing, which means that maybe it has got an increased number of treasures that you could come and take. Now, remember, you get yourself bashed hard in the face if you take out any of the treasures from the chests. But there is a trick. There is a trick. If you were to come and get yourself here and knock out the block underneath the chest and put in a hopper, you could then get yourself the stuff without opening the chest. It's a little bit cheaty, but you know what? It works. Oh, that poor fella. I love that. How cool is that? That is a spawner hanging on the new chain. Really lovely. I love the way they've made that work. And we have our fortress here as well. It is buried. It is a buried fortress, which makes it a little trickier to get yourself going. It's also interesting and crosses over a a Crimson Forest biome there, you can see. So you've got a little bit of crimsonage coming out the top. Now, the fact it's buried means that it is going to be absolutely appalling for you to be able to do anything along the lines of farming. It's just not going to work for you, unfortunately. But this is the closest one. I'm just having a bit of a mooch around to see if I can find my favourite room. And at the moment, it is not obvious. There it is. Thank goodness for that. There we go. Don't worry, the Nether War is available. I really like this seed. It is a good one. It has got great mixture of biomes really close by. It's got all of the buildings you could possibly want. It's got more witch huts that you can shake a stick at. It's got that double monument, which means that you can make a gargantuan guardian farm out of that. That could be absolutely insane. The nether, very interesting. It's the bizarrest nether that I've seen in a 1.16 update. But remember, if you do this in 1.15, you're going to get the fortress right on top of you. So it depends on what version of the game you're going to be playing. Now, I definitely think this deserves a mention as our episode 39. So Brown Banana 13, thank you very much for sharing this. Episode 39. You know, where's the Wandering Conman gone? He's not here. He normally comes in on this bit to try and steal my thunder. Brown Banana 13, thank you so much for that. I'm really grateful for you sharing this seed with us. It is going to bring a number of people a great deal of joy, I am sure. If you have got a really nice seed that you'd like to share with the world, maybe I can put it on here for you. And if you want to do that, send me an email to avomanceminecraft@gmail.com. That is avomanceminecraft@gmail.com. I've got a few hundred of these already sent across to me, so please do make sure you tell me why you think it is so amazing by giving me some coordinates, some annotations, some notes, all that kind of thing. Sell it to me, people, and maybe you could be on a future episode. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.